Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. So today's class is the last class of our Yamas theme, the first step in the yogic 8-limb path. So the Yamas are yoga ethics, if you will, things to ponder, a little bit more internal. So today's is about Bramacharya. And there's different ways that you can say that, but when this was all first created, yoga was primarily practiced by men. And so that was interpreted as celibacy. In today's world, we've kind of moved beyond that a little bit. And while some people might need to do more of a celibate thing, I like more of a moderation interpretation. And so we can interpret that wherever you need to come into the middle ground. So I'm not going to bring politics into that in the middle ground. That's a different class for another time. But just think about moderation. Think about Goldilocks. You know, it's not too this, it's not too that, it's just right. So we're looking for the just right. So as we open today, I'm sitting up on a folded blanket because I want to make sure I can sit nice and tall. You can always sit on a bolster or a block if you need that. But from here, just kind of settle in. Good. I'm going to take a slight tuck in the chin, and I'm going to take my belly button into the spine. We'll just settle in here a little bit. So before we go into a breathing practice, just notice in your body, is there anywhere that you could soften just a little bit more? So do we need to relax more through the face? Can we relax through the shoulders? Relax through the hips? Can we relax the breath a little bit? So if it's a little bit faster or kind of choppy, can you bring your awareness there, making it just a little bit more smooth, a little bit more slow and controlled? So we're going to bring ourselves into that moderation, into that balance a little bit with some alternate nostril breathing today. So from here, there's a way, you know, that you can do the hands kind of like a hang 10. Different people do different things, you know, Star Trek, live long and prosper. The most important thing is you're using your right hand. You're going to close off with the right thumb and then use the ring finger or something like that to close off the other side. Okay. So, and then your other finger, some people like to touch the third eye with that. Some people like to kind of take it along with the ride. Do what's comfortable. That's the most important thing. Don't get hung up which fingers are doing where. So let's take a big exhale to prepare. I'm going to take my right thumb. I'm going to close my right nostril. I'm going to inhale through the left. I'm going to hold. I'm going to close the right nostril, open the left nostril, and exhale. Inhale left. Close the left, open right, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, open left, exhale left. And we'll keep going with that. Inhale. Close the left, open right, exhale. Inhale right. Close right, open left, exhale. Inhale left. Close left, open right, exhale. Inhale. Close the right, open the left, exhale. Inhale. Close and open and exhale. So keep going here a few rounds. Notice as you breathe, if one side might feel a little congested than the other. Totally normal. Good. We'll take this as the last round. Inhale. Close, open, exhale. Inhale. Close and exhale. And we'll release and breathe normal. Now, once you get really, really proficient at that, you can think yourself inhaling and exhaling one nostril. It's actually pretty cool. I've been able to do it a couple times. I keep working on it. Fingertips to the side, palms coming up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in heart center. So creating that intention. So remember I gave you the one, the Bramacharya, the moderation. You're always welcome to come up with your own. And just keep coming back to that throughout the practice. And I'll give you a few little things to think about throughout as well. Inhale, take it up, reach, reach, reach. Let's take a side bend towards the left. Sits bones are rooted. Just breathe into the side body here. Inhale, exhale, move through center, go right into the other side. Good, moving right back over to the left. You choose a little bit, a lot. You can open up, or you can choose that C curve roll. Find what you need here. Breathe and expand through the rib cage. Inhale and open and move through center, taking it back over. You can do a deeper bend, maybe not so much. You can choose to open towards the ceiling or a C curve roll. You choose. So belly button is in, forehead is in the direction of the knee, but not touching. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, engage, coming all the way back up. Good. Gentle rotation. We'll take that gentle twist towards the left. Arms come down. Rolling shoulders back, maybe looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe into the rib cage. So remember, if you can't breathe and expand the rib cage, you're too deep into your twist. And inhale and lift. Exhale, center. Inhale. Exhale, other side, taking that down, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Good. And coming up and coming back together. Good. So from here, we're going to do some seated cat cows before we come onto our backs here. So I'm just going to turn to the side just so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You're welcome to stay on a block or a folded blanket here. Good. So you want to start kind of tall. So think about ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Keep the natural curvature of the low back though. Try not to lengthen that out. So I'm going to just let my hands come right here into my knees. Good. I'm going to inhale, shining the heart forward, rolling shoulders back. Exhale and round. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Good. Let's take this into a little bit of a roll. So I'm going to come forward and round. And your pelvis is going to move with you. Your shoulders are going to move with you. Now I'm doing this more the Kundalini tradition way, so my arms are long. But if you need to bend yours, then go for it. Let's take that in the opposite direction now. Just loosening things up a little bit here. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, good. I'm just going to shake that all out. We're going to come onto our backs. So this is Supine Baddha Konasana. We're going to do it a little bit differently. Normally we hold on to the feet, but we're going to do this a little bit different here. And we're only going to be here a couple minutes. So I'm going to lie back here. I'm going to take my feet together and I'm going to let my feet come to the floor. I'm going to let everything open. If you're really tight in the hips, this might not be very comfortable. So maybe we need to fold some blankets and stick under there, under the knees like that for some support. You can also do the same thing with blocks as well. So find where you need your support and put your support there. And then zip up from pubic bone behind the navel, rolling shoulders back. I'm going to let my hands rest right here on my rib cage and my heart center. We'll be here a couple minutes. Remember, if something doesn't feel right, then something is not right, and come out until you do feel right. As we come into the Bramacharya, the moderation in our practice. So remember, we don't want to go past our limit. We don't want to not get there either. So think about that just right place. So instead of maybe making something 110% effort, maybe back that off to about 100 or 95% effort. If you have a tendency to grab and hold on at the hips, like I just caught myself doing, just kind of relax through there. Good. So from here, when you're ready, kind of help yourself bring your knees back up towards the ceiling, and then just give yourself a little wiggle here side to side. Now, that's what feels good to me. Some people are going to feel better if you take your knees into your chest like this and rock side to side. So if that's a better thing for you to do, then take that. Okay. So I'm just going to reset our timer here. Good. So from here, we're going to go into a supine eagle style twist. So I'm just going to kind of move that out of the way. Arms are going to come to the side. Good. Press into both feet. I'm going to lift my hips and I'm going to shift my hips over to the left. I'm going to cross my left leg over my right, and I'm going to let my knees fall towards the right. So again, if this isn't for you, just do a basic twist here. You're still getting a lot of our purpose here. Try to keep the left shoulder grounded. We're going to be here for 3 minutes. Breathe and expand into the rib cage. You can keep the head centered or turn to the left. So you choose where you need to be. So moderation. So at the time of this recording, there's a lot of just crazy things going on. So for me, I need to be on social media, not just for business, but just to see what, different friends and family are doing. But I don't want to see everybody's opinions on everything. So I have some free add-ons to my Google Chrome and to my Facebook page that helps me filter things out that I don't want to see or constantly bombarded with. And I just put in those keywords and then it filters it out. So it makes social media a lot more pleasant. So I filter it out on Twitter. I filter it out on Facebook. Instagram doesn't work so well, but I think there's some filters you can get for there. So if you're kind of like me and you have an opinion, but you don't necessarily want to see everybody else's, even if they agree with you all of the time, look at some filters for your browser and for your social media. Look for free ones. Moderation, and they're not perfect, but they do one heck of a job. You can also find moderation by putting just a time limit. There's apps that can help you with time limits for social media or screen time. So from here, we'll take the head back to center. If you need to do undo the legs first to come back in the center, you can. And I'm just going to slowly take my legs back to center. I'm going to undo. I'm going to press my feet into the floor, lifting my hips. I'm taking my hips back to center, and I'm going to take my feet as wide as my mat. And I'm just going to rock side to side here. Just letting everything in the low body reset itself. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the feet back in line with the hips. We'll take this to the other side. So pressing evenly into both feet, lift up the hips, shift the hips over to the right side. We'll cross the right leg over the left leg, and we'll let those legs come over to the left. Good. So again, if maybe crossing on the side is too much, just undo, just let the legs stack. You can keep the head center or turning it to the left. Breathe and expand the rib cage. Find moderation in the pose. The Bramacharya in your thoughts. So moderation in the breath. Can you find a breathing pattern that's just right? Not too fast, not too slow. Counting can help with an even breath. And then from here, we'll take that back in. Probably did that a little bit longer, but we'll undo the legs, pressing into the feet, taking the hips back to center, and taking the legs as wide as the mat, and we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle here. Now from here, let's gently take the head and neck from side to side as well. Good. And when you're ready, in the way that's best for your body, carefully turn over to one side, and we're going to press ourselves up and come to a seat. So we should feel a little bit more open through this region here. We're going to get into the hamstrings just a little bit. So we're going to come into another version of butterfly. So I'm going to bring my blanket back in to sit on because my hips are just really tight today. So from here, good, I'm going to take my left leg out long. I'm kind of at an angle, and I'm going to bring my right foot into that thigh. Good. There's two ways I'm going to give you to do this one. Some of you are going to feel better if you just side bend here. Others are going to follow me in rotation and fold. Okay, so be where you need to be here. Let's reset. And whenever you're ready, good. Zip up nice and tall. Big inhale. Exhale, side bend or rotate towards the left and fold to the left. Your opposite hip, no matter what you're doing, is grounded on the floor. And breathe into that back body. Breathe in right here. Good. So my moderation, in addition to my social media stuff, screen time stuff, I'm also moderating how much news I consume. So when I'm not actively teaching or doing something, do I need to have a news network on in the background or radio news on in the background? Do I need that constant bombardment all of the time? And for me, the answer is no, especially when things are crazy and positive news is typically not reported on. You have to kind of really go look for it. So I minimize my news. I watch the local news for 30 minutes. I watch the national news for 30 minutes, and then I'm done. I have my apps that I can kind of scroll through. And so I'm not unaware. I do know what's going on. And then if I want to know more about something, I'll click on it and read that article. Otherwise, I don't have to do the endless commentary on anything. So moderation in your information. So also remember moderation in the pose. So you want to find it where it feels just right. Your body will let you know when it's ready to go deeper. So from here, good, carefully come up and come back to the side. Good. I'm going to take this right leg long. We're going to hinge and fold center for about 30 seconds to reset before we go to the other side. So from here, just nice big inhale, keeping the spine long, hinge forward, go where you can go. And when you can go no more, take the hands down. We'll take about 30 seconds right here. When you're ready, carefully walk that back up and we'll set ourselves up for the other side. So right leg's gonna be out to the side, left foot's gonna come in here. So again, you choose, you can do the side bend or you can do the rotate and fold with me. And when we're ready, big inhale, exhale, take a side bend or rotate and fold. Breathe and expand. Good, find the moderation, the Bramacharya in your pose, in your breath. So relax the face, take a smile. Take a big breath. Good. So from here, when you're ready, carefully come up from there. Good. We're going to come back to center one more time. So we'll take both legs out to the side. 30 seconds, big inhale. Exhale, take that forward. Find length in the torso, relax the shoulders. Good. And then when you're ready, carefully walk that up out of here. Okay, I'm just going to pull my knees in here. We're going to set up for camel. So camel is one of our back bends. If you need knee cushion, and I do today, then I would recommend bringing in a folded blanket here. And I'm just going to come this way so my feet don't get tangled up in the fringe of my blanket. Good. So different camels for different people. Good. And let's change the time. We don't want to be here for too incredibly long. Good. So remember, the hips stay over the knees. So then we're about hip width apart here with the knees. So I'm going to think about taking my hips more forward. Some people are going to roll the shoulders back, taking hands to the hips, and then shine the heart forward a little bit. Maybe that's your camel today. Nothing wrong with being there. Good. Now, some people can have the feet down. I like to be up on my toes because then I don't have as far back to reach. Some people like to have blocks back here if you need help. So we can come back this way. Okay. So be mindful of that. Be where I'm going to go all the way back today. So be mindful where you need to be, and zip up through the front body so we don't crunch into the back body. And when you're ready, good. We'll come here. Good. For 2 minutes. So this is a bit of a heart opener. So as we kind of think about that space, where do you put your energy? How do you moderate your energy? Are you putting it towards things that fill up your cup? Or are you putting it towards things that you don't really want to do, but you don't want to get into an argument, so you do it anyway? So how could you find that balance, that moderation with your use of energy? So remember, hips forward if you're coming all the way back. Good. Nodding the chin if you went all the way back. Keep that belly button in as you carefully come out of there. We'll find a child's pose. Breathe and expand. Good, and when you're ready, good, we're going to continue to counter that big back bend with a big forward fold. We're going to come into caterpillar. So I'm going to fold my blanket back up again because I want to sit on it. Good. Good. Now remember here too, if you've got a bolster, you need some other kind of support, you can put that here. You can open the legs a little bit and have it in the center. So use your props as you need to get the support that you need. Good. So before I come into this, I'm going to come into an anterior tilt of the pelvis. So I'm going to take my tailbone back as my frontal hip bones rock forward. So that helps me sit just a little bit better. And again, this can be deep into the hamstrings for some people. So support under the knees if you're really tight and you need that. But from here, inhale and reach. Exhale, hinge forward almost at your limit. And then when you're there, just kind of let that fold in and around. Breathing into the back body. We'll be right here for 3 minutes. So in going back to your moderation and the use of energy, my husband and I got asked to go out last Friday night, but we had already been out the previous 2 nights. So we said no, so we could stay in and just kind of balance and even things out. So it's okay to say no to certain things in order to keep your energy and mind and everything in check. Finding that moderation. Good. So from here, remember, we never want to just snap out of this one. Low back's going to be a little vulnerable. So we'll come out of here. Good. Once we're out, let's take a gentle rotation in one direction and a gentle rotation in the other. Good. And coming back to center. So we're going to come back onto our backs and we'll set up for happy baby. Now from happy baby, we're going to go into a stretch and then Shavasana. So if you want to support your head and neck with something, it's safe to do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that myself. I just kind of want it right under there, and it just helps my shoulders just kind of be a little bit more relaxed there. So from here, before we come into happy baby, I just kind of changed my mind on the flight. Let's do a little stretch before we do that. I think it might feel a little bit better. So I'm going to start by keeping my left knee bent here. I'm going to take my hands behind my right leg, and I'm just going to let them travel up as high as they can go. Now I want some length from crown to tail, so I don't want to do this lifting up thing here that you see some people do. So just a gentle tug in, and I'm going to point and flex my foot. And I'm just going to breathe. Good. So as we're here and as a health coach, and we're talking about moderation, I have to talk about food a little bit. So in finding that moderation, just, keep in mind, it's one thing to have a heaping plate full of food a couple times a year, like Thanksgiving or Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. It's different if you've got heaping plates of food for almost every meal. Okay, so try to find that moderation is key. Could you balance your meal and your plate? Good, release out of this. Good, and we'll take that to the other side. Good. So nice and gentle, taking it to where you can take it, and a point and a flex of the foot. So Could you find a way to moderate and balance out the food that you're being offered on your plate? Like maybe it just a little bit of everything versus, 2 scoops of everything on your plate? Could you get away with eating 1 serving of everything, or do you need to go back for seconds and thirds? How could you fill your plate to where you don't need to go back for seconds and thirds? And again, moderation is key. I fully admit I go back for seconds and thirds. Maybe an hour later, I might go back for fourths sometimes for Thanksgiving and Christmas, depending on who's brought what. But there's also, it's not moderation when you're doing that with every meal. So be mindful of that. Good, and we'll release. Good, let's take the soles of the feet together here and just kind of open the knees out to the side. So this is the supine Padottanasana that we normally do. We did it a different way in the beginning. Just kind of opening the thigh just a little bit here. Good, okay. So we'll come into that a little bit deeper now. So coming into happy baby, a few different things for different people. You can open up here, taking the soles of the feet to the ceiling. You can have an outside grip, an inside grip, a yogi toe grip. Some of you might need happy adult. So you're bending the knees, feet don't touch, you're holding at the shins here. Some of you, we're going to be here for about 3 minutes, might feel better doing a half happy baby and then switching out about halfway through. So find what you need, and we'll be here for about 3 minutes. Finding length from crown to tail. Belly button is still in. Thinking about Bramacharya, the moderation. Maybe even starting to settle down a little bit. So quiet the mind and the soul will speak. So from here, carefully release. Take one leg at a time and lengthen. And then the other leg and lengthen. And before we come into Shavasana, let's take our arms behind us and reach from fingers to toes. And then when you're ready, good, we can find a Shavasana here. So some of you are just gonna kind of let everything come long and flop open. Some of you might put a bend in the knees. You might be on the side. You might need to be on the belly. Where could you be where you could be comfortable? And then could you make yourself about 10% more comfortable? Good. And then from here, I'll leave you with this goal. Preserve your energy to maintain your inner vitality. So bringing things into that moderation of energy to preserve your inner vitality. And I'll leave you here for a few moments. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of fingers and toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep your upper body lowered, or maybe you want to lift it up into a little bit of a hug. And choosing stillness or taking legs long in front of you, moving any props out of the way first if you used any. Taking arms long beside you. Whoop, I'm pulling my other blanket out with me. Long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes, just like when we wake up in the morning. And point and flex through the feet, and bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Staying here as long as you need to, but when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, Maybe the same one we started with, maybe a different one. Good. Finding that tall sit again. Noticing how you feel. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Touching palms together. Exhale, hands in heart center. Reconnecting one more time with the intention that you either set for yourself or the one that I gave you, the Bramacharya, the moderation. And we'll take the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts. To our lips for good and kind words. And to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you always have a way to find a balance and balance your energy in your life. Namaste.